Hey everybody, it is Elsa932 on YouTube. Thank you so much for joining me. We are here for Love is Blind Denver, which is season 9, episodes 5 and 6. Whew, Love is Blind. I don't like these 6 episodes dropping at one time. You have me on a marathon, but I'm here for it, okay? Endurance kick in. So we are, still in the pods, but we getting out soon. We getting out of the pods soon. Annie has to decide, okay, who she's going to be with. Is she going to be with Brendan or with Nick? So she doesn't want, to spend her whole life waiting for someone, is what she tells Brendan on their date. He's like, I'm your person. Since day 1, I've been with you. Day 5, I told you I loved you. And she's like, why didn't you do it sooner? Why didn't you do it sooner? She needed him to do it sooner. But she wants someone who will always choose her. She says she shouldn't have to ask, and that Nick has fought for her and chose her from the beginning. She says, you didn't fight for me. Why now, when we had all this time before, why now you're willing to fight, but you weren't willing then? So she says she chose someone else because Brendan did not say that he chose her. And I understand that. I totally understand where she's coming from, because it's like, now that it's crunch time, now you want to say you chose me, but you weren't telling me early on. But wait for it, Annie. Even though Nick is telling you he chose you, he also telling another lady that he chose her. Wait for it. He said he's upset because someone else is going to propose to her and he loves her. Okay? That's why he's upset. And that's why also, remember, he asked her not to open the gifts in her pod because it would be, I guess, embarrassing for him. So the song they play is There Goes My Heart Beating. And Annie says, I'm sorry, and she walks out the pod. In the men's lounge, he tells the men, and they're all pouring in good words. Yo, man, you're a good dude. You'll be okay. Maybe this isn't the one for you. Maybe she'll come around. They were really pouring into him, while Brendan was looking really sad and dejected. We see a date between Megan and Mike. They talk about traveling together. He wants to, take a trip with her, and he's working on going to Italy with her. But she says she has not made a decision. He wants her to be sure it's him because he is sure it is her. Now, he keeps on testing her. Okay? He keeps on testing her because he wants her to want him as much as he wants her. But he can see them doing life together. And she says she could be falling for him, but she does have a strong connection with the other person. So he leaves early. He says, hey, I'm not mad. We're not mad with each other. He's just giving her time to think about life with him. And I see that player move, Mike. You're like, yeah, let me drop how our life would look, but I'm going to leave you here to think about it. You ain't fooling me, Mike. The song we hear is I Want You to Want Me. We see Megan's next date with Jordan. He is happy, okay, that he don't have to deal with another guy liking his girl. He feels lucky. He's like, oh, all the other men, they're all tied up in knots because they're in love triangles, and he's so lucky that it's only him and her. And Megan has to tell him, yeah, about that, I do have another connection. He is shocked. He is shocked. But he does appreciate her with being open with him and being open to him being a whole package deal. And I felt like he was backpedaling. I felt like he was like, if I in competition with any of those guys who ain't got a kid, I ain't got a chance. So he said he's committed to loving her every second of every day until they are old. But he wants her to choose what is best for her. She says that she loves him and he loves her back. And he knows it's harder being with a single parent, but he does appreciate her. Next, we see Nick and Annie. He declares how he feels. She thanks him for putting her first. He ain't put you first, girl, but you gonna find that out. She didn't get to, talk about God and kids with Brendan, and I think that is what the change was for her from Brendan to Nick. So Nick proposes to Annie. She says yes. In the men's lounge, Nick comes back inside. Now, everybody's sad. Everybody's sitting around Brendan at the table, and everybody's very dejected. And Nick comes in like, what? Yes, we're getting married. Nobody gets up. It's just as quiet and somber. The only person to congratulate him and shake his hand that we saw was Patrick. He's like, congratulations, man. That's all we saw. I was like, ooh. Nick does sit at the table and apologizes. He's like, hey, Brendan, I did not realize you were still here. You were still in the room. I'm sorry for being so exuberant. But Brendan does tell him congratulations, and he goes to sit on the couch. He goes and gets up and sits on the couch. Nick tries to go over there to talk to him, and Brendan's like, nah, bro, not now. Not right now, please. Please, bro, not now. So Brendan, I appreciate you saying, kind of like congratulating him. It's kind of giving me the whole UK vibe of Demola and Javin. But I could see you were really sad and broken up about it. Real sad. You didn't even say let's celebrate. So, Demola's still on top of my list with that one. So we do have a reveal. Kacie and Patrick. I'm not sure if she likes how he looks. The door's open. He really likes her. He's like, wow, this is his preference. Wow. She smells like love to him is what he said. And she snuggles closer to him. And I'm wondering, are you snuggling closer to him so you don't have to look in his face? That's just me, y'all. Y'all know I'm a little messy. He's glad how it turned out, and she has no response. All she does is snuggle up, and she tries to kiss him more and more. She finally eventually tells him he's handsome. I said, girl, quit faking the funk. She does say he's great. And I'm like, she is barely smiling. He's giving her these compliments. Oh my gosh, it's you. Oh, you're beautiful. I can't wait for us to build our life together. Blah, blah, blah. And she is like, yeah, okay. She walks all the way back. And he does stop to look back at her. But she is gone. She walks all the way out. And I said, this doesn't look right. When we saw that in Love is Blind Brazil, we know it's because the guy didn't like what he saw. He didn't like who he saw there. He walked all the way back. They're supposed to stand there and let the doors close. She don't even want to look at him after the reveal. I'm sorry. I don't think she like him. Megan and Mike. He gives her a note, okay? Her gut is telling her he is not right and not what's best for her. It is best if she goes with her other connection. She breaks up with Mike. He says he feels like an idiot. He feels blindsided. And it's hard to sit and act like it's okay. And he says she's making a big mistake. Now she is second guessing breaking up with him. And he's saying, I can't cry. But y'all, he is crying, okay? He said he won't overstep and tells her to chase what makes her happy. You already overstepped, Mike. You already said, oh, you're making a wrong choice. You're making a big mistake. That's already overstepping. But hey, she does admit that she did make assumptions about him and how he'd react because of her exes and how so much alike he is to them. But he wishes her all the best, and he stays in the pods while she leaves. I guess he got to get himself together. I understand that. In a woman's lounge, she said she thought he would make it easy for her to walk away. Now she's not sure it's the right decision. And he said that the two men are completely different. He never made any comments like exactly what the difference is, but she feels like he was trying to say something and tell her something. And he tells her, embrace your instincts and grab onto Jordan. In the men's lounge, Mike goes back and he hugs Jordan and says, no hard feelings, man. Good luck. That was a very big moment. Nick is worried about Mike. And Mike says, hey, I don't want to talk about it because then I'll start crying and I don't want to do that. So Nick says, hey, she's going to need an EpiPen when she sees you. I said, daggone it. Here go the other part of that Love is Blind Charlotte cast. AD Clay was on that cast. And as I said, Chelsea and Jimmy. And now here come Jessica. I don't know. Was this the most recent season that y'all saw before y'all went to filming? So maybe y'all missed DC and all that other stuff? Because y'all are really quoting them hard. Shout out to Jessica. You gonna need an EpiPen when you see me, when you see what you gave up. Shout out to Jessica. Megan and Jordan. She says the conversation with Mike was very hard. Mike was like her past, and she's going to go with her gut. Jordan says that, Mike did give him a hug and did wish them the best, and he figured that she should know. I'm like, Jordan, why the heck you telling her? She don't need to know about that man. Y'all don't need to talk about that man. This is y'all time. They talk about their connection. He proposes, and she says yes. Now we have the reveal of Nick and Annie. Now, doors open. They walk to each other, hug and kiss deeply. He calls her beautiful, and she doesn't call him handsome. Annie, are you disappointed? Because she said she thought he would be a mountain man. She thought his beard was going to be down to his knees. And he's going to have wild hair and dress like a lumberjack. I don't know where Annie's fantasies were going, but I wonder if she's disappointed. But guess what? Nick remembers he has a ring in his pocket. He kneels, he proposes, and she energetically says yes. She says she's so happy. She says he is cute, he has a clean cut, and she's ready for this clean cut mountain man. And I said, yeah, I don't buy it. But hey, she says she knows she made the right decision. She loves him so much. So we see Jordan and Megan's reveal. He said this is his best suit. Jordan, I think this may be your only suit, but I'm just going to leave that right there. Megan says that he is different, and that is what's scary. She does call him cute when they see each other, but she is wowed. Even though she's like, oh my God, you're cute. It isn't like cutesy. It's like me like, it's real cute. Like, I didn't think you were going to look this good is how it sounded to me. After that, he pulls her over to his lounge and says, hey, here's photos of his son. He's like, I want you to see I make cute babies. And while that is cute, I was like, this is your time, Jordan, with her. This is your time for y'all to connect and meet and talk. And I would have preferred that to happen at the end. But, Jordan is doing this how he always did. Is like, hey, I'm Jordan. I'm a dad. Here's some photos of my son. That's how he's always been. So it bugged me, though, when she was talking about stepping in to be a mom to his son. Ma'am, he has a mom. Okay? His son has a mom. Pretty active mom, based on what Jordan is saying. So when you keep saying you want to be a mom to him, I understand what you're saying. You'll be a bonus mom. I really don't like the stepmom thing. But you will be a bonus mom to Jordan's son. But when you step in and say you'll be a mom, it sounds like you're replacing his mother. Or maybe I'm too sensitive. Y'all put it in the comments. Did it irk you, or am I the problem? I know I may be the problem sometimes, but Now, something she said, Megan told us that she had her implants removed. And this is how her, bustier is naturally. I was like, I would have liked to have seen Megan in her, early body. It would have been interesting to see. Okay. It would have been interesting to know. But she looks, great. She is certainly an attractive young lady. Next, we see Kacie at the hotel. You remember, Kacie is with Patrick. He done proposed. They done had the reveal. And I said, I don't know how she doing this. This is reminding me of Minnesota all over with Taylor and her gentleman, and his name escapes me. Kacie's at the hotel. To production, she says, hey, he deserves more. He deserves someone better than her. Patrick comes in, and they hug and kiss, and she says she is so happy and loves him so much. And that's the end of episode 5. Luckily, we're going straight to episode 6. Kacie says he's not a bad-looking guy, and he deserves someone that is obsessed with him, and that is not her. She knows how it will look. She's telling production this. She cries, and she says, hey, she doesn't want to go on the vacation. She's hugging him, and she's just sobbing. And you could hardly hear. I'm glad there's subtitles. And y'all, there's pieces of it in my shorts, because y'all had to see this clip. She cries and cries, and she hugs and she kisses him and says she doesn't want to go on vacation. He's like, okay, we'll go slow. We don't have to go on vacation. We could go to Mexico next month. We gonna go slow. She's like, hey, she can't do the TV show anymore. He's like, okay, I'm going to see you in Denver. And we're going to do this in Denver. She's like, no, I'm sorry. I can't do this. I have to go home. He keeps saying, it's okay. And she keeps kissing his face. And so you are giving him mixed messages, girl. You're giving him mixed messages. One, you got to go home. He's thinking, okay, we will go home. I'll see you back in Denver, because y'all know they film it in LA. He's like, I'll see you back in Denver. We can continue this off camera. Patrick said he is here for it all. He is in it. He cut off everybody before you. He is here in it. And here you go, telling him, I can't do the TV. He's like, okay, we're doing it. We'll be back in Denver. You're like, I got to go home. He's like, I will see you home later. I can't do the vacation. Patrick is being accommodating, and here you are running away. She says she's not, going slow, and that she's not breaking up with him. I'm like, why are you crying? You're the one leaving. You're the one sobbing, and you're the one breaking up with him. But you're trying to tell him you're not really breaking up with him, but you're breaking up with him. She says she wants to say it, but she cannot say it. It's about her family. Missy. So like, I thought you were lying about the whole mixing of the family. You were just saying that. So she says she can't do the vacation. She needs to go home. And he tells him to find her on IG. I said, daggone it. They don't have their phones, so they don't have each other's phone number. He said he still feels good about her, and they'll take it slow, and it has nothing to do with physical attraction. And here comes messy production. I love it. Thank you, production, for being this messy. I love it. Production shows her 45 minutes earlier, and this is in my shorts. Production shows her 45 minutes earlier coming down and telling them that she don't see the attraction growing for Patrick. She gonna call it quits right now. She know how it gonna sound. She know how it gonna look. And, she just can't do it anymore. So when Patrick comes is when she's overcompensating, kissing him, jumping in his arms, trying to tell him it's not about his looks, trying to tell him, oh my gosh. And then production talks to him and says, do you think it's because of attraction? He's like, no, we're attracted to each other. Look, she's kissing me. She was hugging me. She was all over me. So of course it's not about attraction. Didn't she tell you she had to go home? She had to do something at home. And that's when they play us the footage of her saying she ain't attracted to him. So it was about attraction. Patrick, I'm sorry she was lying to you the entire time. The entire time. We kind of saw it based on the edit, but we don't know what else she was telling you. But I feel, sorry for you, because Patrick, it seems like history is repeating itself. And, from what, nothing has come out saying that you were a jerk to her or anything. But, yeah, Patrick, maybe you should have left with Anna like Blake did, or left the show like Anna did. So we have our couples. We have Anton and Allie, Madison and Joe, Annie and Nick, Edmund and Calabria, and they call her KB. I may interject and call her KB. We have Megan and Jordan, and Patrick and Kacie. I said, daggone it. Patrick and Kacie are gone, so we only have 5 couples. So we are in Mexico. We see Edmund and Calabria. He got her sneakers and, and matching shirts. She is ever so grateful. We see Megan and Jordan. They are flirty and very touchy. Anton and Allie, she tells him, you need to kiss me with the eyes closed. I'm like, girl, let him kiss you how he feels comfortable. But I'm like, still no ring on your hand, Allie. Where's the ring? Did nobody on the way to the airport tell you about your ring? But then I see it, and they talk about it. The ring is on her right hand, y'all. The ring is on the wrong hand. Who gonna tell her? Unless, remember, are they going back? Remember, they may be part of a culture where the ring goes on the right hand and then moves to the left. I'll have to see if they mention that. So he said, I spent like $5,000 on the ring. And he says, it's a joke. She's like, it really should be $10,000. $10,000 is reasonable. And he, like myself, was like, $10,000 on a ring? Who? He says, please don't make me spend, $10,000 on a ring. She's like, make you? It should be an act of love and devotion to the mother of your future children. And I said, Anton, run. The song they play is Heart in a Headlock. More like Wallet in a Headlock for Anton. Madison and Joe, only his lips touch her when they're kissing. And I'm like, I really don't think Joe likes her. So she removes her hair extensions and he says, don't get it in my drink. But he was joking, but I thought he wasn't joking. It wasn't funny. But I I don't wear hair extensions, but I don't take off my, wigs and stuff in front of my husband. Not for lack of trying, but he just ain't around. Now that I think about it, he's just not around when I'm taking it off. But she was okay doing that. So she trips, okay? Now remember, Madison's the one who's losing her sight gradually because of a genetic disease. So she bumps into something on her way outside to him, and we hear her fall, and he's like, ha ha ha, yeah, watch out for that. No, sir. Your fiance just almost fell over. She can't see well in dim areas, and all you gotta say is like, watch out for that. He don't like her. I'm sorry, Joe don't like her. Then he turns to the production, messy production with the receipts, and he tells us point blank, which is in my shorts, I'm into thinner women, usually. That's just my preference. Not saying that I wouldn't be interested in her. Sir, you're not interested. You're just biding time and you just don't want it to look bad. But he says attraction can grow. No, sir, it ain't growing. He said he thought of her as a stranger when they first met, that he was, kissing a stranger, and that he couldn't really connect his emotions with the person in front of him. That's because you don't like her, Joe. You don't like her. That's why I couldn't connect. She's like, I feel you are my person. Do you feel that? He hesitates. Yeah, I do. She's not buying it like I'm not buying it. And Madison, I need you to wake up. But he says he was not at peace at first, but he is at peace now, and that's all that matters. He says he's attracted to her. Lies. Lying to my face. Edmund and Calibria, he can't end the life of a bug. Okay, there's a bug or a moth in the room, and she said, get it. And he's like, I got to give the bug a chance. I got to give him a chance. She's like, we can't be living with bugs. And I'm with you, girl. But for me, I'm going to handle it. If he wants to, he can capture it and release it outside. He sees her taking the lashes off, and he's like, okay. See, this is why, ladies, sometimes when you are revealing yourself or removing your makeup and other accessories, sometimes people ain't ready to handle that. She does teach him that, hey, body lotion should not go on your face. And he's like, why not? Body lotion should not go on your face. Megan and Jordan, we see them getting ready for bed. Allie and Anton, they head for bed, and she wants to explore the physical. Okay, Anton. The next day, everyone had a good night together. We don't know. We keep hearing cuddles, like the people in the UK talking cuddles. Who done knock boots? But we're going to find out later. Edmund and Calibria, okay, she says when she gets engaged, she used to tell herself in the past that she was going to be obnoxious with her ring. She was going to be moving her hand and saying, pass me that, and only using her left hand to show off her engagement ring. Now he says he will be the best he can for her. And she says, hey, she competes with everything. And I said, lady, rest. Stop. You no longer have to compete. You don't have to compete. Rest in this relationship, please. She says she likes to give surprise gifts too, just like receiving them. And she likes to surprise and spoil her person. She's also a protector. KB, rest, please. Take this moment to rest. You don't have to protect him. He says, he is respectful of her independence, and he basically doesn't want to smother her. She says she's tired of being strong, but you still want to be the protector. You still want to compete. Why aren't you tired enough to just relax? So she talks about a scenario about if they're out somewhere and another man comes in her face and grabs her and says, I want you. What are you going to do? Edmund's like, I'm not for confrontation. I'm not going to put my hands on another man. She's like, you're not going to fight for me? He's like, I'm not going to put my hands and have a confrontation. So, he's trying to be the best man. And he compares himself to other men. And she's like, don't compare yourself to other men, or else you won't be happy with yourself. Be better than your own self the day before. But you're telling him, you're comparing him to the man that supposedly grabs you. You're comparing him to men that want to protect by fighting. So you are comparing him. And then I had a thought. Are you therapizing him? You are a social worker. Are you using your therapy methods on him? Because it's sounding like that in the conversation. And I don't want to fully say that's what you're doing. But hey, he says, I also want to hear from you that I'm very special. And then she takes a sip of the drink. Ooh, snap. Madison and Joe, she says, I'm always saying I love you first. All the time we say it, I say it first. He says, he has done it a few times and he's going to try and do better. And she says she's always felt like she was not enough for her partner. Now she says she did feel sick last night. I was like, ooh, what? But she says they're having great intimacy. How do those two go together? But what happens is he told her about not, her not being his preference. So she felt kind of sick to the stomach because he wasn't explaining it right. She didn't think she was attractive to him. And he basically said what he told the producers. I'm glad she knows. I'm glad she heard that. Or he told her. But baby girl, why did you still sleep with that man? But he says, oh, he finds her attractive. That's not what you said, sir. That's not what you said. And she has to pull him. She's like, come closer. Come sit closer to me. If he was attracted to you, he would be sitting closer to you, Madison. If he was attracted, he would want to be closer and want to be touchy-feely. He is not attracted. So that sick feeling you had, go with it. Nick and Annie, they start naming their kids. Yo, I didn't even write it down because it was ridiculous names. And they're both saying this is better than they thought it would be. And he said he will be her emotional support husband. The song they play is I'm Yours. Now, y'all, this is where it get dicey. The couples mixer. Annie thinks that Joe got Botox. Okay? Allie thinks that Nick has lizard eyes. Now, Nick clocks the expensive jewelry on Sparkly Megan. Remember, she sparkles. That's also the jewelry. So he asks to be her Cartier plug. He's like, I'm going to be your plug. I'm going to hook you up. She's like, oh, okay. We need to get Jordan a Cartier bracelet. Jordan is like, one day. Jordan's like, I don't want you getting me expensive gifts right now. No. And then you don't know how he will feel since you are the one with the money. You got to take it slow, Megan. You got to take it slow. Now the ladies go over and talk. KB tells how Edmund had her name on his shirt or her initials on his shirt, and it scared her. But the ladies are like, oh, no. He is awesome. He's wonderful. You want a man to express his love and express what he wants from you right now. And she's like, but I ain't slept with him yet. And he already doing all this? I understand you, KB. I understand. If you lay it on Edmund, he will be attached to you forever. Now, all the other ladies say, they done been with their guy. KB's like, yeah, we've done other things. We've done 24 play. Okay, we've done some 24 play, but we ain't going all the way. Megan says, it's the best she ever had. He knows what he's doing. Madison said, Joe was amazing too. Madison, I'm sorry. I think Joe was overcompensating for the fact that he said you weren't his preference. So he put in some work to make you think that he into you. That's just my thoughts, y'all. I don't know. Annie says, it was amazing for her with Nick. And Allie says, she wanted to wait, but when she got with Anton, she just couldn't. Now the men are talking. Now they realize that they all have gotten between the sheets except for Edmund. And they tell him, hey, it's all good. Just be open. Just be glad that she is talking to you. She's telling you what she wants. Now, KB Calibria said that she wants to wait until after the wedding. She wants to take things slow. She wants to take things really important this time and take her time. So he said he getting some before marriage. And I didn't like how it sounded. And it could be editing. But I saw his mouth move saying he getting some before marriage. He needs to test drive before marriage. I understand. But if you're doing all this other 24 play, then you already know it's going to be wonderful between you, Edmund. Anton says he has gone 2 to 3 months with nothing. It sucks. But he said that has happened before. She's only asking you to wait 30 days. That's it. So you can wait 30 days. I like how the men are telling him and kind of calming him down. Say, hey, I understand you're over eager or you're just eager. But she's telling you why she wants to wait. Just respect it and go with it and experience everything, everything else right now. Edmund goes over to, rub sunscreen on the ladies, but he, gets his lady's feet and he starts kissing her feet. Adele, she's like, dude, there is sunscreen on my foot. KB, you don't want to know where his mouth been in the men's lounge, okay? Your feet with that lotion is the least of your worries. So Madison asked if she should leave because Edmund was getting real into rubbing her feet and just kissing up to her ankle. Edmund's like, yes, leave. Go find Joe. And I cracked up. He's like, go find your man. I'm having some quality time with my woman. And KB is like, that's my friend. Why are you chasing her away? He's like, she got to go. Now, Annie does come over and Edmund talks to her about how crazy it was with Brendan. And that, they were all crying in the lounge with Brendan. It was hard to watch him. And KB was telling him, hey, don't trigger her. Watch your words. Watch how you're saying it. Okay? So Annie shares that, hey, wonder how I felt. Wonder what I was going through. Brendan was not telling her what he needed to tell her all this time. And he waited till the last minute. And that wasn't cool for her. So that's why she had to choose who chose her, which was Nick. Now, Edmund says, hey, if you chose Brendan, you would be missing out on Nick, and he's a great guy. You did the right thing. I like the way Edmund approached this. Like, y'all saw Love is Blind UK. There was a moment where someone was like, I'm going to check that bride because I need to know why she broke my dude's heart. It was very much confrontational. But Edmund in this instance here in Denver, Love is Blind, he's like, it's like, we were all crying. This is what happened in the men's lounge. What happened? And Annie was able to express herself. And also KB, Edmund's fiance, was able to tell him, hey, pull it back. You don't understand what we ladies were going through too. Just pull it back a tad. And he was able to adjust. I like that, conversation or how it went. Okay. Now, Madison does talk to Joe and they kiss for a bit. And then he turns to one of the guys and he's joking. It was Jordan. He's joking. He kissed her, squeeze her tush a little bit. And then he's like, yo, man, And then, he looks around and Jordan's the one that had to tell him that she left the bar. Megan comes over and asks, hey, do you two need help? And they're acting like they are bros at a college party. They are bros at a college party. And making all kinds of corny jokes. And Megan was not happy. Joe is spending more time. We see little snippets. He's spending more time with the bartender than with his fiance. Joe is wasted at a certain point. And, he doesn't even hear Madison ask him a question. She's standing there next to him, talking to Anton. And she's like, well, what are your thoughts, honey, to bring him into the conversation? And he makes a fool of himself. He is so drunk, he, can't even decide where they should hang out. She's like, you know what? Let's go sit somewhere. He's like, okay, yeah, let's go sit. She's like, well, where are we going? He can't decide. He don't know where they're going and what they can do. So he just decides to go back to the room and tells her, don't stay at the party. He going back to take a nap. Y'all, he never comes back to the party. We see Annie and Nick after the party and they say, hey, meeting everyone confirms that she chose the right person. And Nick says he won't change a thing. Now, Joe and Madison goes back to the room and she wakes up and Joe is freaked out, woke up. Oh my God, what happened? Why are you dressed like that? Why are you dressed like that? And she's like, you didn't come back to the party. He's like, I'm just taking a nap. She brings him water. She asks, did you drink too much? He's like, no, I don't think so. He denies being incoherent. And we hear from her that he has asked her the same question 4 times. She's getting freaked out. She's like, I don't know what's going on. And then she goes to the bathroom and starts to cry. He comes in and he still seems drunk, y'all. I mean, it's like real drunk. And she gets mad at him and leaves because she's trying to tell him. And she's like, I am concerned. Did you drink too much? Tell me what's going on. Now you've asked me the same thing 7 times. And every time I answer you, you don't even remember. She goes outside and she cries and she's like, sorry for caring and trying to help you. KB and Edmund, they are talking about the other couples and who will make it to the altar. But hey, KB, though, doesn't care what they think. Then why are you giving your critiques? If you don't care what they think, Why? Oh, do you think they would care what you think? So Edmund, is like, hey, people will think that they're the strongest couple. She's like, they don't pay you and they don't feed you. So don't pay them any mind. Then KB said, doesn't matter to you that we're the only couple not smashing. He's like, no, but it's okay. And she says she has made other people wait 9 months to years to be with her intimately. He's like, but what about the ones you didn't make wait? What about the one night stands? She's like, they didn't mean anything to her. They were nothing of substance in a relationship. Those were get up and leave people. He's like, you are letting folks that don't treat you right hit it. Yet here I am giving you my all. She's like, she can sleep with him. She's like, I can sleep with you this weekend and we still won't be a no at the altar. We still could be a no at the altar. And I was like, was that a slip? But she's like, hey, intimacy is very sacred to both of them. So why compromise? So the one thing I didn't like about this scene was it seemed like transactional. It seems like I should get some too. I deserve some too. I should have access to you too. And I really did like that, Edmund. I know what he's trying to say. You had lower standards back then. But sir, you're not seeing that she has higher standards now. You want the back then girl. You want her to lower her standards that she's brought back now. You're like, you gave it to everybody. Now's my turn. That's what it sounded like. And y'all know it's an edited show. That's what it sounded like. That's why I'm not putting too much on 10 with this. But I'm going to see if you're going to feed into this more. Now, comparing them to others, she says, is what bothers him. That's the issue. Don't compare yourself to the other men. Okay? Even though he's the only man there not getting any. He said, you're wrong. I'm not comparing. He said he's more emotionally locked in with her than she is with him. And I said, ooh, now we're getting somewhere. He feels like he's loving her more than she's loving him. So she says, how? I'm giving you words of affirmation. I'm not the physical touchy-feely type. But hey, we got to talk about this. What do you need from me? He then has an outburst of he's always the boop nice guy. He's just too nice. He's heard that all before. He's heard it before. He's been told that before. And that's what he's hearing from her. She ain't saying the words, but that's what he's hearing. He said he is stuck on her having one night stands in the past. And she says, what can I tell you? That was over a year ago. That was over a year ago. That is not who I am now. And that is the end of the episode with the song, What Happens Now. Thank you so much for joining me for these first 6 episodes. If you have not seen my other recaps, please look around. We cover all types of dating shows, both domestically and abroad. But leave a comment below. Make sure you hit that like button and you subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel.